Now, for the last 1 hour, you all will be actually listening about what kind of markets you should invest. So for the next 45 minutes, I'm going to talk about something even more important that you can invest in yourself. So one fine Sunday, those days, if you remember, we had a World of Sports in the afternoon, right? I'm talking about 30 years ago. The older ones who said, So those days we had that. And one Sunday, he called me and said, Sakti, I need to have a chat with you. I got a very big advice. So, say yes, Path. And he told me, Sakti, I realized that you have a special affiliation with borderline. Your grades in school, borderline. So if any company hire you, confirm they will go bust and they will close down. So I will forget about you becoming a successful engineer since you study engineering. Sports, borderline. Now you go for every selection in your school team but never make it to any single team. So sports also, you will never become the next Sundaramurthy or Fandi Ahmad. So I will also limit that. Now as a son, also borderline. I'll give you money to buy papers in the morning. You'll go out, play with all your friends in the neighborhood, come back 2 hours later without the papers. So as a son, also borderline. So at that moment, what I feel is that the advice I'll give you is you should start a career defending the borderlines of Singapore. Now that was the advice given by my father. So if you ever ask me, Sakti, how you end up in becoming a ranger, it's because of that one advice that I should defend the borderlines of Singapore. Now at that moment, can you imagine how I felt? My father just labeled me as a borderline son. My father, no. How do you have felt? Angry? Disappointed? Now I felt that my self-esteem, I went into the ring with Mike Tyson. Battered and bruised.
What?
And then I told myself, okay, that's it. I'm not going to allow this man to make me or label me as a borderline son. So I decided I'm going to unlock my potential. So at that moment I realized whatever I've achieved in military was not by accident. And I also realized that elite performance, or to be able to perform in anything we do, right, it's not specifically for the talented or the specially elite people or the special people out there. Any of us can actually progress from borderline to elite performance so long as you are willing to work on it. So that was something that was an eye-opener for me. So I decided on the day that I want to actually commit to a purpose. Go with the flow guy, decided to go with a purpose. That from now onwards, I will help people who want to empower themselves to rise above mediocrity. So I decided, whatever I can do, I'll work with them. But the only question is, yes, I've done it. I know how to do it, but I did not have a structure. I did not know how to go about doing it. So that's when I decided, okay, if I don't know, ask the experts. So I decided to approach all the experts, the industry experts, leaders out there, and started talking to them. So in fact, what I did was, I started a live podcast, which was streamed live on LinkedIn, where I talked to many industry experts, whether in sports, in business, in anything, arts, so on. When I talk to them, I always ask them, what is the key? What is the key for your success? What fuels you? And that's why today, why I'm here is actually to share with you the M strategy, which I've been using it, or which has helped me to actually perform and achieve elite performance, whether as an airborne ranger, as an entrepreneur, and as well as even Ironman triathlete, and many other things, but I'm just going to focus on these three. So, M strategy is talking about having a purpose-driven mission and having a growth-oriented mindset and continuous development. Now, before we move on, I just want to say, we talk about from borderline to elite performance, right? Now, when I say borderline, I'm not saying that you all are performing as average as what the Sakti used to be. Yeah? Please don't mistake me. What I'm trying to say is borderline is where you are right now. If you're an average performer or you are doing quite well, that is your ground zero. That's where you start from. And from there, anything that you better becomes growth, becomes progress. Now, elite performance. Now, I like to emphasize that elite performance sounds like, wow, it's very difficult to achieve. Elite performance is only for the talented group of people. Trust me, it is not. Now, all of us can achieve elite performance. It is about setting a high standard for yourself and then working out on a process and progressing towards it. So I just want to make this clear before we... So today I just want to say that all of us, if you agree at the start that we are capable of achieving elite performance in our unique fields. So I want you to take some time to really design or define your mission, design your mindset, and master or refine your mastery in the craft and achieve elite performance. Why? Because we are not going to live forever.